already heard, we are Sisterhood of the Travel and Bantha. We are your hosts, Krystal
and Denise, and we are coming with special support from Council Member Mark Collier.
We are broadcasting from a galaxy far, far away.
Hey, what is up? Guys, I'm excited.
What's going on? Besides the fact that we're gonna be eaten by dinosaurs. I mean,
almost all of us. I'm trying.
Raptors.
What are they?
Raptors. That's the only name they have, which is on par for Star Wars. So
clearly a dinosaur. Yeah.
Nothing like in the new stuff really has a whole lot of information out there. I'm sure we'll get a name for it like 5 years down the line, but that's all good.
On par, anytime Star Wars gives us dinosaurs, they also don't give us information.
No.
We have dinosaurs for like 3 seconds. And then they're like, no info for you. Just be real thirsty for it.
Dinosaurs are now canon, so it doesn't get any better than that.
Nope. So, hi! What's going on?
There's a guest!
We have a special person. Say hi. You
hi.
think that we had never been on camera before?
I mean, same for me. Like, honestly.
Hi, it's our first episode ever.
We're still getting used to this whole streaming like video thing. Like,
it takes practice. It's fine.
It does. We're slow. We're getting better.
Yeah. Introduce yourself. Tell us something interesting that you want everyone.
Hi, I am Mara Jade. So yeah, like that's my actual given birth name, and I didn't used to like it as a kid, but I love it, and I never want to change it ever.
It's
Which
super
is
epic.
Amazing. It is probably like my favorite fun fact about you, I think.
Total accident too.
Right. You said that they didn't know.
I love it. No, they didn't know at all. They were just like, let's go with a stone theme for names instead of like having a family middle name that like everybody in the family has. They were like, oh, my mom's name is Amber. Let's do Jade as a middle name. It was almost Caitlin, which didn't have the same nice flow to it. But yeah,
it's fantastic.
So we have 3 questions for you. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
We
like to ask all of our guests.
And they progressively get more difficult.
Yeah.
But there are no wrong answers.
There's really not. Except, maybe there are. No, I'm kidding.
There's not. There is not. So the
we just like to put people on the spot.
Krystal is notorious for that.
Yeah.
The first question is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie, show in the Star Wars verse that you have?
Honestly, it does vary from time to time. Like I'll go through phases where one is my absolute favorite and then others aren't. But usually like Rogue One and Rebels are in my top.
Those are both very good. Rogue One is like my second favorite movie, and it's so good.
It's so beautiful. Oh my God.
Yes. Krystal, do you want to ask her our second question?
We did them out of order, and I've never asked the second question.
I know. I couldn't remember the order.
What's your favorite Star Wars character? And everything counts. Ships, planets. I mean, my favorites are too. Everything counts.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing that changes so often too. One of my favorites has always been Padme.
Yes.
But I also like really love Luke. If we're branching out to like ships, I love the Naboo starfighters so much. It's like a tie between Naboo starfighters and X-wings. I want one so bad.
I obsess over them.
You can just have that as your daily driver.
Yes, I would love that so much.
That would eliminate so much time driving to work.
Yes, exactly.
So quickly. So our third question, this is definitely the hardest, but it's also probably, I think, the most fun question Would you?
I think so too. Yeah.
What is your favorite like memory tied to Star Wars?
I'll go with two of these. So when the trailer for episode 1 aired, we recorded the trailer on VHS. And so we had that that like 1 or 2 minute trailer on VHS that I would play all the time because I was just so excited. It was like the teaser trailer, so it didn't reveal a lot of anything in the movie, but that was so fun to watch as a kid all the time. And then when the Gendry Tartarovsky Clone Wars aired, and it was only like 3 or 5 minutes long each episode. My brother and I would like race home. Like, say we went with my mom to the grocery store, we'd come home and be like, "Mom, we have to be home in time to watch this on TV right now." And so like we'd walk in the door, turn on the TV, stand up staring at it, and my mom would be like carrying the groceries, and the episode would end. And we'd be like, "Okay, we can help you now." And she's like, "It's done." Like,
so I keep telling Krystal she needs to watch these because they're so good.
Yep.
For a while, it took me ages to watch the newer Clone Wars series simply because I loved the Gendry Tartarovsky one so much. And I loved that animation style. And I don't love the animation style of Rebels and Clone Wars. But they're both still really, really good. I still love those shows. But yeah, it's just so good.
I definitely get it. I'm struggling with the new Clone Wars.
It takes a little while, but it does get there.
I'm almost through season 1, but I remember watching the animated one, the 2D animated one, and it's just Mace Windu's fighting was so good. And like Grievous, like
amazing.
Oh, I love Grievous.
Grievous is my favorite in that. I also love the Padawan that looks legit like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And that Grievous kills him in one of that, but I'm like, you're my favorite. You're just in the background and you have a couple lines and then you die. But I'm like, I love you, man.
That's amazing.
You need to watch it, Krystal.
I do. Yes. It's on my plans. In my plans, whatever.
Nice.
I'm so crazy. But we brought you on to talk some Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Specifically, we are here to do season 3, episode 4 of The Mandalorian, The Foundling, or what? Chapter 19?
20.
Chapter 20?
Yeah, 20 sounds right.
20.
I just rewatched it a couple minutes ago, but yeah, 20 sounds good.
19. Yeah.
This was so I rewatched this one last night. It definitely was what I needed. I think I had a very, very rough night training, and I came home and I was like, I don't want to rewatch this. I don't want to write down my notes. But I'm glad I did.
More work.
Right. But I'm glad I did because I enjoyed this episode. It's a very one-off episode. Like, it has a whole beginning, middle, and end. It does add to the storyline, the overall. And we get a lot of history, background information, which was a lot of fun. And there's so much goodness in the background, despite being Order 66, but we...
Yes. Yeah. Again.
We'll get there.
That was really cool to see. Just that whole opening scene with all of the Mandos training together.
Yes,
everybody together. And a glimpse of like, oh, this is what's happening when we're not literally under fucking attack.
Yes.
We don't know much about the Mandos. Like, everything we see is them being under fucking attack or fucking attacking something.
Yeah, or them dying, things like that.
But there were so many
cool to
of
see
them.
So many young ones too.
Yes.
All in their little helmets.
Their helmets and their flight suits because they don't have their armor yet. Like, I think I told Owen I think I'm gonna make them a Foundling costume.
Like a soft part.
Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
So he can go to cons with me because
he's really fun.
Because he's at an age, he's growing so much. It's too hard.
You don't want to put him in armor yet. You'll have to put him in 9 kits of armor a year.
Yeah, I don't actually. Yeah,
I don't want to keep remaking it. I do not have the time. I love my child,
Sure.
Mandalorian.
For all of you guys who have made a kid, or
time and money, it's a lot.
It's a lot, but he's like, I can do that. But it was so neat to see the kids training and like their parents.
Grogu.
Yes. He's so adorable with the little dart.
Okay, so
yes,
that dart the dart challenge, like between Grogu and Ragnar, like
yes,
that was a very interesting like dynamic between the two, because one, we have Ragnar, who's he comes from Vizsla, like a very established house, and now with Grogu, who is brought you got Larry. Oh
my goodness,
this is Larry.
That's so cute. I love it.
I can't take his mustache off because it's been on for a year and it stained his face.
Oh,
so no. Larry has a mustache forever.
Permanent mustache. Nice. So cute.
Yay! Oh my goodness, that's a unibrow.
Nice. Oh my god.
That is so my cute. Child.
I love
my
it.
child did that.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I figured, you know.
Why not? Make him unique
while we talk about Grogu. But it was really fun to see him getting trained along with the other kids, though.
But it was interesting to see that I don't think Ragnar saw Grogu as like an equal.
Oh no, not at all. His his body language and everything with his arms crossed. Yeah, he's like, who's this kid? Doesn't even get to wear a helmet.
A baby?
And it makes me wonder too, like, is that part of the way he was brought up, or part of knowing that he's from Vizsla, like an established house? Right. And Grogu and Din are brought into this, like, not environment. What's the word I'm looking for?
I think that's a good word, but they're brought into the covert.
To this culture.
They're not. They weren't born here. They were brought into it. I didn't really get that impression. I think it's just like, you want me to fight a baby? He's a baby.
Ragnar's just a kid. Like, I beat this other kid.
But like, it was a fun little fight. I love the daddy vibes from Den. He was like, "You got this, kid." Like, he's like,
and the auntie vibes from Bo.
Like, relationship is really changing by now. I mean, he's like, I care about this child. Like, I'm going to teach him. I'm going to protect him. I'm going to make sure he's good to go. And not just, I'm protecting this asset because it's important.
And like, he wants him to like come into like more powers and training. Like, he says he specifically wants him to become an apprentice. So he's got to take these little steps to get there.
And like you're saying, the anti vibes too from Bo, though. Like,
yeah.
And when we
she
talked
was just
about
so sweet with him.
That last episode is this mutual respect that Din and Bo are starting to like establish with each other, like this deep like connection. And I love that it's not like a romantic or it's very
there's
platonic
no love story.
It's
just,
like
we're both badasses and we can see that in each other.
Yeah, and it's
just badasses together.
I love that type of story because I also like it's the same with Fennec and Boba Fett. Like there's no tension, sexual tension there. It's them. They got each other's back. They know they both rock, and they're going to support each other. And that's kind of how this Bo and Din like relationship is turning into.
Better because of that. There is no distracting love story. There's no chemistry that we're having to deal with, or they're having to foist on anything. I think it's better without it.
I absolutely love it. Like, we need more relationships in like film and media of people of the opposite sex where it's not romantic, because it doesn't have to be.
I
just like
it's really important. I think that goes a long way towards, stopping the idea that you can't be friends with a member of a different gender than you without it being sexual.
Yes.
And I'm sure that pop culture has had a lot to do with that.
Oh yeah, it's so difficult, like being on fan sites where people already be like shipping Din and Bo. I'm like, but they don't have to, just because they're a man and a woman, they can be best friends and not have anything romantic going on.
Right.
and that's like real life too. Like I have a lot of my friendships are with somebody of a different like gender, and those are some of my favorite relationships. Like, and I couldn't imagine my life without it. Not everything has to go that route. People just want to be friends. They want that family. They want that connection with somebody that they can understand and relate to, and it's refreshing. It is so refreshing to see that with Dan and Bo. Like,
yes,
I'm here for it.
It's really nice.
Really here for it. So
yes,
let's move on to the rescue mission. Like
both that was beautifully shot.
Oh, so the scene, are you talking about beautifully shot where the scene where she's flying off into the sunset chasing the
Yes, that, and even just like before her ship shows up, so like you see all the other Mandalorians with their jetpacks flying around through the gorge trying to chase the creature. I was like, this looks beautiful. I love this.
This whole episode like was stunning. And there's a lot of correlations too. If you look, the scene, especially when Bo is flying after the raptor on the like over the yellow orange horizon, is very reminiscent of the sequels. They have that also. I forget which movie. I didn't write it down, but it ties in because the last episode tied into the sequels. That tied into the sequels too. Oh, what episode was it? Now I'm so mad I don't remember it. We're going to remember it. Krystal's going to post a picture here because I'm going to send it to her.
Figure it out right
here. Nice.
But like the cinematography in this episode, and it's what's crazy is they're not actually filming on location. They're in a studio with this big screen wrapped all the way around them.
Oh, no, that's right, because a lot of this was shot in the the thing. What is that?
I forgot what it's called. I know the word, but
yeah, it's a special. It's so immersive, like how they have it, and it's so lifelike.
Yes,
but there was a lot of interesting things. I am loving that we are learning so much about Mandos this season. I, for one, did not ever think about Mandos running out of fuel.
I didn't either, and I was like, has this ever been discussed in canon? Like, they've been on, like, not necessarily this show, but even just other things with Mandalorians. They've, like, I feel like they've flown quite a while without losing fuel, and I was like, oh my god, this is so, like, interesting to see, and something we've not ever heard of or encountered before. That there's, like, finite resources for them.
Like, oh, it's not magic. It's not just
they can't just fly infinitely. Like, there is a stopping point where they're going to have to turn back and reconsider this mission. And I really like that. I think a lot of this season is really showing more of the practical side of everything, that there are limits. They have to be thoughtful on how they do everything. We see the inner workings, and it's really, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know the word. What? Yeah.
I think that's something it adds for me. It's like it adds to that immersiveness of the show when you get to find out tiny details like how they ate. Because you think about that, and we've all had conversations since learning they believe you can't take your helmets off. Well, how do you eat? How is that handled? Well, we get to find out. And I think little tiny details like that really make it feel even more real for me.
Yeah.
And that just
and it very much, Bo is like this episode specifically, like our entry point into this specific Mando culture, because she doesn't know it either. So like she's the character that gets to ask the questions that the audience is curious about, like how do they eat, or all of this other stuff. And it's really cool because we already most of us know Bo from Clone Wars or Rebels or all these other things too. So we already have, like, the audience has a connection with her anyways.
I had not considered that. That makes a lot of sense, because how else do you be like, yeah, we've kind of shown you these guys for a while, and now we're going to
and now let's do exposition, really weird exposition. But...
they can be curious. They can be oblivious, and we'll fill in the, that's...
Well, and, like, obviously Grogu's new too, but since Grogu doesn't speak, like, he can't be the audience surrogate in that instance.
Yeah. I would say, I did write that down in my notes, talking about how it was interesting learning how they eat, and in solitude. Like, well,
that makes sense. They can't take a helmet off in front of anybody. So you have to eat in solitude. Otherwise, we've all worn Mando helmets. Can you imagine trying to like just?
But while they're all so like immersive, like they're all there together and doing everything together, there's so many like points in their daily lives where they're so alone. Like they're eating alone, which means when they're sleeping, they got to be sleeping alone because you're not going to be sleeping with this helmet on. Like it just.
So they're absolutely sleeping alone.
So while you have this family and culture, you also have the
there's
solidarity.
There's something going on with my camera. Mother.
I think we lost Chris.
It just, there we go.
We're just slowly seeing the raptor behind her. It looks like it's eating.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like nom 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 nom.
Oh, maybe I might know what the problem is. I think it was
Oh my goodness.
That's still the weird glitch.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, we're back. Those are rest. Ah! So I have anxiety. I am being attacked by a raptor.
It looked like you were literally being attacked by a raptor. It was it was funny. But yeah, it's just this weird like balance between having this family and support and then having this solitude as well. I don't know if I personally could do that.
Yeah, I was just now thinking that's super hard between like the parental relationships with the kids too. Like you're never gonna see your kid's face and vice versa.
Especially
because
once
you
they
can't take your
the
helmet off
creed.
either to look at them.
Yeah.
And visibility is nothing. You know?
Yeah.
It's literally nothing. But so it's just very interesting to see that aspect. But I want to touch back on, did you guys catch the team name that was rescuing the Ragnar? The Shriek Hawk?
I didn't write it down. Yeah, there we go. Shriek Hawk.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. They're actually part of the Children of the Watch.
Okay.
And Paz actually leads this clan.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah. So that must mean there's several different clans that are now here with the covert on this.
So they've been kind of
collecting people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now that they've collected Bo too.
I mean, and this goes back to something we were talking about in the last episode. Every Mandalorian, it doesn't seem like which faction they belong to. Every Mando seems to have this intrinsic belief that Mandos are stronger together.
Yes.
Like, that doesn't seem to get lost on any of them. So, it kind of makes sense, right? And if we're thinking about how kind of vulnerable and weak they have to feel being on their own, having to constantly be in hiding, being on their own, feeling probably a little bit like the outsiders because they're in the minority as far as their belief system. So probably anytime they come across anybody who's like, yeah, this is the way, they're like, yeah, all right, you're coming with us.
Yeah.
There's more of us out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole like mission, so Krystal and I do costuming. I primarily wear a Mando. I think that's like all I wear.
I can't reach my Mando helmet.
I just put my stuff back in the garage till our next trip. Can we talk about the agility of these Mandos that we see in this episode as well?
Yes.
Hold on.
Rock climbing?
Are they made of rubber? Are their armor plates made of rubber?
No, it is a Beskar.
How are they?
But yeah, I mean, for this filming,
really,
it's possible, like when they were filming the rock climbing scene, that they gave them a different type of material for their armor so that they could move easier. It doesn't make sense in universe, but like for filming, yes.
I
mean,
like,
we don't even wear metal. Most of us wear
plastic.
We can't bend over. We can't bend over. We can't turn our heads more than
so hard. It is so hard to move in it because you can't, like, you don't have this arm movement because of how it's cut. Like, I one time climbed inside of a tree house with my armor, and I was like squeezing through these tunnels. I was like, how are
these Mandos fighting? How are they battling? And
How are they
jumping
fighting?
on
Lots of practice.
They're rock climbing with a Gatling gun. Like,
how?
Yeah.
Like, all I can picture is fucking Dresden, who I have never met, but he's basically this mythological metal Mando.
Probably know what it's like.
Trying to picture him in his fully metal kit climbing up the side of a mountain. Like,
his kit weighs like 150 pounds.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is like, Dresden is probably has one of the coolest looking Mando kits in like the world, and it is all metal, and it's heavy armor, and it's not modern. It's oh my god, I'm having a brain fart.
Legacy?
Yes, there we go. Legacy armor. So it is like plates stacked on plates. Like it.
Mm-hmm.
I bitched about my light armor.
It's and we see so many Mandos heavily kitted up like that.
Yes.
Doing things like climbing up the side of a mountain.
I mean, I guess if it comes down to it, you can make it work, because I recall a time, I don't think you were in the Star Wars groups yet, Krystal, but like I was at a convention with Owen, and I think he was like maybe 6, and all of a sudden we were in this convention, and you hear him scream, and he's like, "You're a liar!" and he starts going off on somebody, and I had to swoop this kid up like a football and throw him over my shoulder while in full armor. Like, it can be done like in quick instance,
Okay,
but it's not comfortable, and it only lasted for like 10 seconds as I ran him off to the side of the convention.
Okay.
It's like, I took off my helmet. I was like, "Owen, stop!"
I'm gonna picture you in full kit, this child over your shoulder. Like,
oh yeah, I had him like. Ask Dina. Dina was there. I think she saw it. Like,
I feel like you have told this story on the show before. It seems very familiar, but I did not see it happen.
Because it's one of those things where, like, if something's going to be done in kit, like throwing a child over your shoulder, like, it's one of those
100%.
things. It's like, it shows what you can do in armor. Like,
yeah, exactly.
oh, I love my child. Like, I haven't had to do anything
pretty
like that in a while.
Hi, Owen. We know you're listening or watching maybe by now.
Oh, talking about this, Owen said, so my kid's been walking home from school lately. Sorry, this is like complete like side topic. He's been walking home from school lately, and he's like, "Mom, do you know what I listen to when I walk home from school sometimes?" I'm like, "Music?" He's like, "No, your podcast. I want to make sure you guys are supportive."
That's so sweet.
I love that he still listens to us. I think it's
oh my god.
I love my
No,
child.
he left us our very first review.
He did.
It's adorable.
I love it so much. This is the best small fan ever.
And so thinking about my kid, I think that's one of the things I love learning about Paz this season is that he has a kid, and this like father-son bond is so strong, and he genuinely cares about his child. Like it's so nice to see that. We don't see a whole lot of the father-son or father-child, mother-child relationship in Star Wars very often, because a lot of times
somebody's dead.
The mom dies.
But it's really nice to see that he cares so much. Like he put all his reservations about Bo to the side to work with her to save his child.
Right, he completely trusted her.
Yes, and
that's the thing that matters. It doesn't matter that you don't know each other. It doesn't matter that she's new. Right now, your kid is gonna die if you don't go rescue them. Go get them.
And like that, he let her stay by the fire too when they ate. Where he was like, "Oh, because you're the I think he said war party leader or something like that. You get the highest honor of staying.
You get the fire,
the flame."
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to see the evolution of Paz in this season. Last season, I thought it was super annoying, especially when fighting Din on that like weird planet. It wasn't even a planet. I don't know.
Yeah, like that space.
Yeah.
ship area with like all the catwalks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really that was in Book of Boba Fett. That's right.
Oh, was that Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's my one gripe.
We were just talking about how things smoosh together.
But it was really. Sorry, I've been drinking. It's been very long weeks at work.
That's fair.
Sorry.
Gotta power through somehow.
But it was really nice. You okay, Krystal?
Oh my god.
I want a sticker that says sorry I've been drinking.
We can have it with blue milk.
Yes. All right.
Perfect.
Let me remember that and I'll make it happen.
Let me open up my but the whole rescue scene, let's get back to the rescue scene. Paz like jumps right in.
Mm-hmm.
They see the heat signatures, and then the baby raptors pop out. Oh my god, I know.
Baby raptors.
As soon as they said the heat signature, I was like, that's not gonna be the kid.
Right. It never goes that smoothly.
No. And it grossed me out. So like the babies start like attacking Paz, and the parent comes up and then like barfs up the child. I'm like, so this monster ate the child alive. The child was inside this monster, alive, living, breathing, and gets vomited up. I'm like, oh my god, this poor child, the trauma that he went through this whole episode.
And it was at least 24 hours, right? Because they stayed overnight.
Oh my god, how long was this child inside the monster and like didn't get digested or die or anything? Because like they watched the creature fly away with him in a talon, not in like a mouth or anything. Right. So I'm like, this poor child.
But why did it eat him first? Like,
it's not digesting, so it's not easier. It didn't make it easier for the babies to eat him.
I would say,
right? Unless you like get him long enough in there, maybe he will partially digest. I don't.
Yeah, but like the kid's fine.
I know the kid was fine. Maybe, like you said, traumatized, but physically fine.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so this fight in the air, this aerial fight was so amazing. You guys, we saw them at jetpacks flying and fighting and hand-to-hand combat while in the air. Like,
I know.
It was wild.
Way better than the Dino Turtle fight.
I agree. This was cool. But the Dino Turtle fight was fun, though. That one was also pretty exciting, I think.
They were more successful in this one.
It's because they're better in the air. They've got those aerial fighting skills.
Did you guys catch the Phantom Menace reference in this? Well, okay, it's not said, but it's like implied.
Okay. So I didn't catch it the first time I watched the episode. I was looking online about it, and I rewatched the episode today, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can see how this is a reference.
Because so at the end of the fight, the raptor gets eaten by the Dino Turtle, and it's basically implying that there's always a bigger fish, which is like a throwback to Qui-Gon in A Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
But you guys, there was a big event that happened in this whole episode that we have not talked about yet. Well, they're in the forge, and the armorer is making what is it called? The rondelle for Grogu. As she's banging on this armor, it's not the first time we've seen traumatic events for our favorite characters, but we get a flashback of Grogu's history with Order 66. Krystal's face.
Oh my god.
You guys, this flashback gave me
screamed.
So much life.
Was sitting right next to me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me like for clarification, and I screamed right in his face.
Nice.
Poor Eric. He endures so much.
I loved that we got it's basically like a repeat of Din's experience in the Forge, where it's this
Yep.
hyper traumatic childhood element where like for both Din and Grogu, like their childhood is ripped away in this moment. Their entire family is gone. They're
Mhm.
just trying to fight for their lives basically,
Right.
but helpless at the same time. And so I don't know if it's because I haven't watched seasons 1 and 2 in a while, but I was like, damn, Grogu is super expressive, especially in this episode. I'm like, the puppeteering is amazing. He looks
On point.
so sad and pitiful's not the right word. But just like so
No.
sad and worried this whole episode. And I'm like, the eyes get me every time I see him in the
I know it.
Forge. I'm like, his little eyes.
I definitely noticed that too. Like you could definitely see the worry on his face, or not necessarily, or the fear, or the like you're saying, that being traumatized. But I also think that the technology and the puppetry from between season 2 and season 3 like became exponentially better because it was a
Yeah.
2-year gap, so they could improve on this
fine.
technology. But like it was a traumatic experience. We got to see how he survived Order 66. Like,
Mhm.
oh my god!
And living
And
through that, like that's horrific all by itself.
and we got to see you guys, Ahmed Best. Like,
Yes, yes. I
this
was
is
so
the
excited that he got to come back.
comeback of the Star Wars century. Like this
I love
dude.
Jar Jar anyway.
I
But
know
like,
you do.
man, they did Ahmed right here,
But
though,
like,
because the
yes.
shit that man went through.
and
The
he
shit
was
that Star
Oh,
Wars
absolutely.
fans put him
he
through
was cheered
is
on so
disgusting.
much. And I love that it was him saving Grogu. Like it
Yep.
was his comeback story in Star Wars, him redeeming himself, him
Yep.
getting to be that hero that he always was, because in the Clone Wars going through, whereas Jar Jar Binks is kind of slapstick silly, he comes through at the end, like of everything he does.
He always does.
Yes.
Jar Jar always comes through. He's silly to
Yes.
get there, but he always comes
Yeah.
through.
Sometimes
And,
he accidentally stumbles into it, but yeah, he gets there.
right,
He
but he
gets
still
there.
gets there. And you know what I think I loved? Sorry, something just bit me. You know what I think I love the most about all of this is, so it was Star Wars fans that drove this man almost to destruction.
Yes. Yes.
And the reception that he got from Star Wars fans when they brought him back was like
Yes.
full circle.
Yes.
180
I wanted
degrees
to
from what they
cry.
did to him the first go round, and that feels so good.
Everybody was so excited to see him, and like the outpour of love that he got on social media.
Yes,
It was so
the man deserves the
great.
world.
Yes,
Like it's so refreshing to see that Star
he got
Wars
his moment
fans
in a big way.
Yeah, and Star Wars fans go up and down all the time, but I'm really thankful that in recent years he has gotten so much love. Hayden Christensen, who got a shit ton of grief, has gotten so much love. And now, like Daisy Radley is coming back. She got an outpour of love at Celebration as well. I'm loving that all these people who've been in Star Wars are they're getting this outpour of love. And I'm so glad that it's overshadowing all the toxicity that can be in Star Wars.
Yes.
And like these people
love that they're sorry.
Oh no, I would say I love that this outpour of love is overshadowing this hatred.
And I love that they're getting it face to face too, like specifically at like Star Wars celebrations and things like that. Like even Kelly Marie Tran is getting so much love face to face from fans there.
Yeah, it's just
it doesn't block out the negative from the online sphere, but it definitely
helps.
It's important and it helps a lot.
It helps, and more of the Star Wars fans are accepting than there are of people who have this.
I definitely agree with that. I think it's just like everything else. The other ones are just louder than we are.
Yeah.
You know, they make more noise because we're off enjoying the thing we're enjoying. They're just screaming.
Yeah.
And so
yes.
I bet that you are correct, and there are probably more wholesome Star Wars fans in the universe than there are toxic ones, but the toxic ones are noisy.
So talking about Emmett best and his Jar Jar ties. So we see the Naboo royal ship.
Yes.
Sailing
I
them.
was so excited. I was like, oh my God, yes.
Who do you think sent this ship? I don't think it was Padme, because Padme was off doing her own thing. Could it have been Senator Jar Jar?
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Could it have been Bail Organa? Like, could it have been one of the hands? Could it have been one of the handmaids?
One of the handmaids would have been good. I feel like if it was Bail, it would have been an Alderaan ship and not Naboo.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have been. Oh, but one of the handmaids.
It could have
working in conjunction.
Give me more of the handmaids.
I am here for the handmaids.
Who would that have been? We think if it was, it had to have been.
What's
her name? Starts with an S.
The main one.
Sabe.
She's
the only one that stays with Padme the entire
time.
The
only one who looked enough like her to be like ordering things, making in-person royal decisions.
But I don't know if they would have had to, if she would have had to order them as Padme, if that makes any sense.
Think so.
It was kind of like a covert thing that they were trying to do, and it was like, hey, quick, gotta go. Yeah.
Was it Sabe?
I think that's new headcanon for me. I think it was Sabe.
I want more of Sabe so much. It makes me laugh. So I was watching or reading some interviews with Keira Knightley, and like people would ask her about Star Wars, and she was like, I was in Star Wars. Like she doesn't, because she was so young. She was like 13 or 14. She was like, oh, I mean, I guess I played Sabe. That's cool. But I was like, I would love to have her come back, but I don't think that she would.
That was her name.
I want a whole show for the Handmaids. I want a whole show for Padme and the Handmaids.
Same.
I want to see that book happen.
Absolutely. I loved seeing the Republic gunships too. Like I love seeing prequel stuff pop up, and I was like, "It's the gunships!" Yes,
I was excited because I knew the reference because I've seen them in the first season of Clone Wars.
Yes,
they're in episode 2 also.
That's right.
And that's another of those little things that I love that like really adds to the immersiveness of the galaxy. Yeah, you would absolutely see an old ship from this floating around sometime. Yeah, you would see people dressed like this showing up over here. Like, because that happens. It's like being on our world and expecting to, I don't know, we're in Tulsa and we have rocks, so you never expect to see grass because grass exists on the other side. Well, no, grass would still show up over here because it's all connected. Right?
Well, and I like it with it's like those little elements. Like we don't have to see all of our main characters and everything. Like we don't have to have Luke connected to absolutely everything.
Right.
It was cool that he was in Book of Boba Fett and Mando season 2. But also like I love seeing all the little characters that like aren't big important members in the galaxy just kind of show up. I also wrote down too, like every time I see the Jedi Temple in flames, I'm just it makes me want to cry. I'm like, no, because we see it in the background when Kelleran Beck, on my best character, drives away with Grogu, and I was like, no.
Those scenes are hard to watch.
They are hard to watch. Like,
man, especially after, and I won't talk much because you're only in the beginning, but man, especially after watching Clone Wars, everything breaks my heart so much more than I used to.
I'll get there. I will get there.
So much more
all
than
the
ever did
feels.
before I watched.
But it's also very interesting watching all this other stuff, and then with the Clone Wars. So watching the Clone Wars hits differently because I know all these further backstories of everybody. Yeah. So like when I saw Senator Chuchi, like I was like, because I love Bad Batch and I love.
That's true because you've already seen.
And, like, so it's now
for me it was opposite. I didn't know
evolution of where she started to where she came. So it's very interesting. But talking about evolution of characters, and we see Grogu get the rondelle with his Mudorn emblem on it. It just showed, like, learning about this, Din is putting his like everything he earns from his bounties towards Grogu, which further deepens that relationship between Din and Grogu. Like, I was like, oh, Daddy Din's taking care of Grogu. Like,
right. It's not just obligation anymore. Because it's gone way beyond just obligation.
Yeah, it is that relationship.
I wish, like, part of me is like, oh, I wish Din would have been there because that's a big moment for Grogu to get like this piece of Mandalorian armor, which I guess the Mandalorians do a lot of things alone, like we were talking about earlier, especially with taking off their helmets, they have to be alone. But I was like, oh, Din would have been so proud standing there.
But I feel like getting this armor is a very personal, like, experience, because we also see Bo getting her new shoulder pauldron with the Mandalorian or the Mythosaur skull on it. And it's also another one-on-one experience with the armor. Like, it is a very personal, very deep connection to their heritage to bring on these new armor pieces. And this is where
that makes sense too, because these things are passed down. Like things go from generation to generation through a clan. So there's bonds with every piece of their kit, I think.
And talking about Bo, like, I think this is where she starts to, well, this is definitely where she comes to terms with, I did see the Mythosaur. Like, maybe this is more, is this, because she brings it up to the armorer. And at this point, she hadn't spoke to anybody about it. And she's verbalizing it. She's speaking it out that, hey, I saw this. Like, what does this mean? Is this because it's like, is this an omen? Is this a prophecy? Is she going to be the next one to unite all the Mandalorians on Mandalore? Like, this is really like projecting out there that there's going to be a shift in the Mandalorians.
And it like her actually realizing that she has hope, because like when we first see her this season, she's like dejected. She's like, everybody's left, nobody cares anymore, I'm just here in this palace by myself. But her like actually like working with Din and Grogu, and then just seeing the Mythosaur and kind of, like you said, verbalizing that it existed, even though it's kind of unclear if the armor really believes her, but it's just like this moment of hope.
She's talking about it being like a vision or something, right? When she was talking to her.
Yes.
Yep.
So that was that like maybe a little patronizing? Like, yeah, sure you did, okay. Or is that like we put a lot of stock in things like visions and
I don't know. I think
might be both.
Maybe. I feel like this was a turning point for the armor on how she saw Bo. Because I feel like she kind of always saw her as maybe a lesser, because she didn't live to the extreme that they did. But now that Bo is claiming she saw the Mythosaur, she's like, maybe there is more to this than just living to these extremist rules, that if the Mythosaur presented itself to somebody who is, I guess, an acolyte, like, what does this mean? Like, can she unite us? Which we then later we learn more about. But it was I think it was a turning point for the armor and Bo and their relationship.
When you're talking about just that whole experience being very personal, you know, she is sharing a very personal experience with somebody that she doesn't know very well.
Yeah.
And that's got to be kind of unusual, right?
Because she didn't even share that with Din at all.
No, she didn't. And he's supposed to be his homeboy. Sorry. But yeah, okay. So episode 4 was amazing. I cannot find an episode that I don't like in this season. But are you guys ready for Denise's fun facts?
Yes, give me.
Yes.
All right. So our first fun fact, Mara Jade, you probably know this one. Bo-Katan references the peaks of Kyramort. Did I say that correctly?
Yes. Close enough.
Okay. See, I knew you would know it. This is actually an EU Legends reference, and it is a stronghold on Mandalore, and even served as a place of refuge for the Clone War, or the clones who chose to leave the Republic Army. Yeah, so it was a nice reference. Cool. I would say, and Filoni is such a huge fan. Like, I love that he pulls in these like little tidbits from the expanded universe.
So is that books or comics or games, or what is that?
Books. It's from the expanded so the Legends books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anytime you say that, because this part of it is new for me. Anytime you say expanded universe of the EU. Is that specifically books? Are there comics that are part of it too? Or games
There
that
are
it
some
too?
comics, but most of the time I will be referencing books. But so I thought that was really cool that they brought that into the story, which means obviously Filoni's going to bring in more of our expanded universe. And I love that he is such a fan and he gets it and he knows that people enjoy these little tidbits. So another fun fact, do you guys know who voiced our clones in this episode?
Yes.
Tamir Morrison?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the
I love him.
He's such a fan too. I love that they keep bringing him back for all these different things. And
he's a huge fan. The fans love him. He does things the right way. Like he just does Star Wars right. Yeah. He also, fun fact, is the voice of our Bantha.
Yeah.
Oh, Bonnie?
Yeah.
Like a Bantha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bonnie's got in one of her paws, you push the button, it says like a Bantha, and we recorded him from a YouTube.
So cute. I love it.
So I got one more fact. One more fact. And I think this one is really fun because we talked about this character and this actor. Jedi Beck, this is not his first appearance in the Star Wars universe. So Jedi Beck is Ahmed Best. He saves Grogu. This Jedi's first appearance was actually in the Star Wars Jedi Temple, a show that was aired on StarWarsKids.com, and it aired in 2020. And he was the Jedi that hosted the game show.
Oh, that's cool. Yes. I've never seen that show either.
I've never watched it, but I'm so excited that he got that. Like, I remember seeing when that was airing, and I was like, oh, good for him. I won't be watching it because it's not my jam, but good for him.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun that they're bringing in, like, it's not just the books that they're bringing in or the expanded universe, but just now even little shows like this that was on the website, and they're bringing him back to play this character. Like,
that's really cool.
Yes.
I want more. Bring him back.
Really important. Like,
yeah, it wasn't just a like small like role. Like he saved Grogu. Like
Grogu, yeah.
I want to know more what happened.
Yes, I want to know where they go. If they go to Naboo, what happens to Kelleran? Because obviously, once we get to like the Mandalorian timeline, Grogu's on his own.
Right.
Yes.
And how did he get there? Like, what happened? I'm sure we'll get more in flashback scenes.
Oh,
that seems like how we're gonna fill in all the gaps. But
they need to confirm.
We want to know how we ended up.
But yeah, oh my gosh, you guys, this is so much fun.
Yeah, it was. This is good.
Yes. Oh, and I didn't realize it till like the end credits, and I looked. I was like, "Oh, Carl Weathers directed this episode.
Yes!
The guy plays Greef Karga," and I was like, "Ah, I love this so much," because I love seeing who directs each episode. Because like they've got their select few that have directed several episodes over the seasons and things like that. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's directed an episode already in one of the other seasons. But I was just excited to see him.
I don't know.
Do I know him from? Like non-Star Wars? What else has he been in?
Carl Weathers, he was in Arrested Development.
Oh,
yes, that's right.
I love that show.
He was in another big movie franchise, I believe. Oh
yeah, I'll have to look it up. I'm trying to remember too.
There's another one, like a big. He was in the Rocky movies.
Oh yeah, was he?
Yeah, yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff I've seen. Okay.
Yeah, I love him in Arrested Development because he plays himself giving Tobias Funke. Like,
yes, that's right. And he keeps getting like, "Oh, your wife works at a restaurant. Let's go so I can get free food." He's amazing.
He plays Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never seen the Rocky movies. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
He was also in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, that's right. I think I remember him from Happy too.
He was in Predator
I haven't
seen
in a while.
He's done quite a bit of fun little things, but like
the crocodile is the crocodile, the alligator, whichever one it was. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Oh, hey, I got a cat down by my feet.
Oh,
Ooh, speaking of movies that don't have anything to do with Star Wars, finally just watched Baby Driver, like 2 days ago. Holy fuck, it is so good. So good. Have either of you seen it?
I have. I saw it once years ago, so it's a
Yeah?
little blurry for me, but
Oh my god. The way that movie was shot, like, it was so creative. The music worked so
yeah, I do remember
uniquely
the
with
music being
the
a big part.
movie. I've never seen music work in a movie the way that did. Like, there would be lyrics that are playing in the song, and then you'd see the lyrics scrawled in graffiti on a wall, or like somebody would say it, or like gunshots would go in time to, windshield
To the
wiper. I
beat.
mean, just
Yeah.
such fucking cool ways they shot that movie. And to mention, the
Awesome.
soundtrack was killer.
That's awesome. I'll have to watch it again.
Basically,
Oh,
like, fuck
Katie.
Kevin Spacey, but that movie
Oh, yeah.
itself was amazing.
All right, Taffy Cat. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe my So yeah,
You're
Denise,
killing
you
my
need to go
face.
watch it. Baby Driver. It's really fucking cool.
But this was a great episode. I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Mara Jade, for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was so exciting to talk about it.
So much fun. I genuinely had a good time. Like,
I'm gonna embarrass us both. Like, before the episode, we were talking about being excited, and we were both like giddy little children. We were just oh my god. So we are thank you for coming on with us.
Of course.
So make sure you are following us on Discord, join our Patreon. There's access to merch and stickers and behind the scenes content and chances to come be on the show and be silly with us. Starts at $3, so you can join that for as little as $3, up to more dollars if you want to give them. Stick around for next week. It's going to be super fun. Of course, we are continuing our Mando. And then also coming for the anniversary of ROTJ, we have a very, very cool thing planned. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. Special episode, you guys. Make sure to tune in.
And until next time, may the force be with you.
Always.
Thank you for listening to Sisterhood of the Traveling Bantha. We are written by Denise
and edited by Krystal. Our social media is managed by Bailey Hawkins. Original logo art created by Tyler Rigney.
Intro and outro music provided by Galactic Empire. You can follow us on all social medias at Traveling Bantha. We are also streaming on all major platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and Amazon.
You can leave us a tip and purchase stickers at buymeacoffee.com. Join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month and get access to special perks and gifts. We want to give a huge shout out to our Jedi Knight and higher supporters, Rooney, Michael Beavers, and Mark Collier. Thank you so much for your support. May the force be with you.
Always.